I think one of the, most interesting things that one of my buddies said to me one time is he goes, man, like, you're a really nice, like, quiet guy, soft-spoken, but, like, it wouldn't surprise me if you were out there, like, being a serial killer or something. It was really uncomfortable for me because, like, we were kind of, I like Hinduism, I like Eastern philosophy, I like the idea of, like, Buddhism and, being really peaceful and having a Zen mind and not wanting anything and being really free from all the suffering of the world and trying to get there. And that was kind of my philosophy, up until I was choked out by Sterling and opened up my eyes and I hear him running around and celebrating, and I was like, fuck that. I really feel, man, like when I'm in the back in that space, I feel 100% completely untouchable, and that's something that is very, very different than when I was fighting before. Like, I'm walking into the cage now feeling 100% untouchable. Fuck that. Everyone that I go into a fight now with, I'm really trying to hurt, like I want to be the guy that's running around the cage and they're opening up their eyes.
Joe Rogan.
That was an exclamation point
talk
on top
about
of the
a
stakes.
statement.
Cory Sandhagen was a calm fighter until he faced Sterling and got choked out, waking up to Sterling celebrating in the cage. From that point on, Cory wasn't the same anymore. He decided he needed to become more dangerous and explored the path of anger and destruction.
Like, that's where I need to be before I walk into every single fight, because this isn't really a game. Like, I didn't like coming to, opening my eyes and seeing this dude run around the cage in celebration. This is not a game anymore to me. This is like, this is battle, and it's conquering, So it changed a lot in my head, and I started reading war books. The Book of Five Rings, The Art of War, a bunch of books that I don't even want to recommend because I don't want my opponents to read them, Just like Google like the most badass warriors in time. Yeah. And I'm an idiot, so I like forget everything after a month of learning something. But one of the warriors was this Aztec dude, and he got captured by the other team. Whoever it was, they took him, they cut off his hands to like try to like just make him miserable for his entire life. They sent him back to his camp. This guy like glues on knives onto his hands and then just commits the rest of his life to just like killing all of these people that like did that. And that to me,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this might be him. And because that's like the type of dude that I was trying to like become sometimes, where I'm like, yeah, my life is committed to like,
But my goodness, the injection that you get from a loss or from just straight up failure where you're like, oh my God, I'm a loser.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, the feeling, it's so bad.
Yeah.
You're literally the same person you were before that moment. But now you fucking hate yourself. You hate everything. You feel terrible. You can't sleep. You get up to take a piss and you can't stop thinking about it. You're like, fuck! You just feel so.
You nailed it.
But that feeling is worth a fucking $1 billion. It's so valuable.
I wish I could win fights and feel like I lost every single time. Ooh. I wish I had that type of superpower. I wish I could do that. That emotional pain, I think, is worse than physical pain. And I remember after the first time I lost, I had like my own existential crisis a little bit where I had to, venture off and really question like who I was as a person, where I was putting a lot of my identity, just because that shit hurt so bad, man. And I remember like, if I keep doing this, it might happen again, And I had to like sit with that a little bit, and I was like, and you might not even get what you want out of this. And then I was like, damn, and then I had to sit with that. And then I was like, this could happen again. You might not ever get into the UFC. You could be doing this and win some, lose some, and be a loser until you're 35, 40, And in my head, I was like, okay, I'll sleep in a box. I'll be a loser, as long as I get to do this with my life, like, I'll be that loser.
After winning fight after fight since his loss against Sterling, Sandhagen was feeling the pressure of his new, darker self. When he fought against Chito Vera, he had an epiphany of how to be the best martial artist. And so, he developed a calmer self again.
Just plugging up some holes, like figuring some stuff out. I feel like I'm at the part in the martial arts journey where I've gotten really good at being a really good learner. Like, I can learn super fast and super efficiently now. And it's like big time paying off. Like not only that, but I also, the space I was in before that Cheeto fight was unlike one that I feel like I've ever been in my life.
How so?
You know, have you read like a decent amount of sports psych books?
Yes.
Where they'll sometimes talk about how you're almost having this out of body experience where where you're almost like floating above the court or the field or whatever. It was almost like that, except I wouldn't use the word like floating above, but I got to a space in that fight where I felt like all of the thoughts and all of the distracting things that sometimes happen in a fight were completely ignored, and this like higher being, better version, like best no thinker, just actor was running the show. Like it's almost like I was watching the thing happen while I was in the fight, and there would be bits of me hopping in and being like, hey, throw this combination, hey, take a little bit more of a risk, hey, do this, and then that would get completely just watched, and this whoever was fighting that night that didn't even feel like me was the person that was fighting. It was fucking cool, man.
Wow.
It was cool, dude. It was like, you know, like a psychedelic experience feeling type of thing.
Really?
It was cool. In that part of the journey, I was really in this space where if I could make myself more war, if I could make myself more angry, if I could make myself be up here, I would have success. That kind of stopped working a little bit after the last fight because it was such like a distracting feeling, just feeling like I have to get myself to a point of anger or upness before a fight where it just became distracting. Where it was helpful before, it became distracting in that song fight. I bailed on that, and I just tried to be as mindful and as present as I possibly could. And I know that those are like kind of corny words now, but there is some real substance to them when they're like really done well. And I would say maybe about 6 weeks before the fight, I had this moment where I was sitting on the couch because I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I want to be a world champ real bad. Where I was to the point where I wasn't enjoying any part of the camp, any part of the experience of fighting or anything. And I was sitting on the couch, and I just like, I think I was crying a little bit, and I was like, I can't fucking do this for the next 5 years of my life, you know, like I can't do this for the rest of my career. And I was like, well, what's got to change? And I was like, I got to take this pressure off of me, and I got to start enjoying every day a lot more than I am right now. And from that like 6 weeks before the fight, I started doing that, and I really think that carried into the fight, and it made me be a lot less tense, a lot less tight, and it made me be able to fight with just like a completely free way of being.